Yo, what is going on, Geek Corner? This is your boy, Earth Matt, the Mad Scientist, and welcome back to the Orange Phoenix Media Channel and another episode of Saturday Morning Comics, man. Coming to you every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Man, hope you guys had a awesome week. Had an awesome time this week, man. This week been pretty busy for your boy. Been pretty busy. Pretty busy. But especially getting back in the swing of things and everything else in between, man, because I've been traveling, man. It's the holidays, man. Everybody's going to be busy. Everybody is going to be busy, but I'm never too busy to give y'all some geekdom goodness. I'm never too busy to give y'all some of the latest and greatest in comic book news and pop culture and stuff like that. So never too busy for y'all. So just like I told y'all, as I always do, hit that like and subscribe button and that notification bell. Right? You got to hit that like and subscribe button, especially if you're a newcomer. If you're a newcomer, hit that subscribe button, especially if you like the content that we put out, and that notification bell. And when that notification bell hits, you basically want to hit down that drop down box. And when they come down to that drop down box, you make sure you select all. When you select all, you get notified on all of the content, whether it's live or recorded, man. So, this week, when I say it was a busy week, it was a busy week. You know what I mean? Because there are not one, not two, but there are 3 comics videos out right now on the channel. There are 3 of them, and as promised, just like I said with Mr. Terrific issue number 6, year 1 issue number 6, just like I promised, put that out there for you guys. I put that out there, and the thing I definitely did was put it in a playlist. So if you want to look at the entire playlist of Mr. Terrific year 1, issues 1 through 6, I have it all for you. I got it all formatted in the playlist for you. All you gotta all you gotta do is go to the Mr. Terrific year 1 playlist, and you're good to go. And also, what I have been doing with the channel is like the videos of specific issues for specific comics. I condense them in a playlist, so that way you don't have to like keep scrolling and looking for it or whatever the case may be, like the Storm and Rogue Storm comics, right? Or the Uncanny X-Men, Unbreakable X-Men comics. So all those are condensed in one nice little package, and it's a lot easier for you guys to find. Very much easier for you guys to find. The next video I did cover this week was Batman issue number 4 by Matt Fraction. Very good book. We were introduced to a brand new villain, the Minotaur. Now, expanded on that in that video. So if you haven't checked out that video from this week, go ahead and check that out, because the Minotaur is that man's a menace. And the way he introduced himself to us as the reader, he might give Batman a run for his money. The way he thinks about things, the way he methodically and meticulously put things out there, and how he has the Gotham crime circle at bay, even though he's running things, and how he makes an example out of people when they make mistakes, or if there's a rat in the circle. Yeah. By all means, like Batman issue number 4. And also, we were introduced to, I wouldn't say a new character, but I would say a character we haven't seen in quite some time, Anarchy. He's also in that comic as well. Now, that's all I'm going to say, though. You got to go to that video, the Batman video, which is also, when it comes to Matt Fraction's Batman, that is in the playlist as well. So if you missed out on issues number 1, 2, 3, you can go to that playlist on our channel, and you can look at those videos from issues 1 through 4. And I really am enjoying the Matt Fraction's run of Batman. So it seems like you guys are as well, especially with the views and stuff like that. There's one person that put out a comment in the video, and he saw something that stood out to him. And, he was asking about the Minotaur's hands, and that's all I'm going to say about that. And I can tell you, this wasn't AI generated. This is out the comic book. So when you see that comment and him pointing that out, it's definitely not AI generated. That wasn't his intent. Like, let's put it out there. That wasn't his intent to point that out. It was just like something that he saw, and I'm like, you got a good eye, because I saw the same thing. Because we don't know much about this new villain. We just know he's very, very smart. That's it. That's the only thing that we know about him as a character. So that is definitely a really good book to actually cover. Actually to cover. And the last thing that we covered for this week was Absolute Batman number 15, the introduction of the Absolute Joker. We got, I wouldn't say introduction, I'm more like the origin introduction of Absolute Joker, because the Absolute Joker in this universe been very vague, but we know that Absolute Joker, or Jack Grimm as we now know him, is very controlling. Like, I know when we talk about the Minotaur and the Batman solo run in the Absolute universe, Absolute Joker is that's a problem. He's a problem, and I mean like more ways than one. Like, if you been reading Absolute Batman, because I haven't like covered every single issue of Absolute Batman. I'm kind of like reading that on my personal time. It's something that really stood out to me outside of the normal awesomeness that is that book. I will put it in video, so I wouldn't say there's a playlist for that, but I will say Bane is nightmare fuel, right? Bane, especially in the last few issues of Absolute Batman, has been torturing Bruce Wayne. Like, has been torturing this man to high heaven, to the point of injecting like venom in Batman. So he's been really the main character. But one thing you do have to know is, Jack Grimm, or AKA Absolute Joker, he has Bane at his beck and call. Like, Bane works for him. Like, Bane, the way Bane in the original continuity of Batman is a huge figure, that is Batman size in the Absolute universe. And you take what that Bane / Batman size from the Absolute universe, and you take the Bane from the Absolute universe, and you pretty much triple that size. That's how big Absolute Bane is. But still yet, he's at the beck and call of Absolute Joker. And we got a glimpse of what he's able to do, or what kind of room he's able to control or command and Absolute Evil. And, with the dialogue he has with the other villains at the table. And how whenever he speaks, everybody just shut up. Nobody says anything. They just listen. And that's all I'm gonna say about that, because I feel like I'm gonna just dive into the weeds of the Absolute Batman number 15, and I want you guys to go to that video to check that out. You know what I mean? So go to those 3 videos that we put out this week, man. Like I said, been working really hard, been putting stuff in playlists, and been doing what I do. But I also still had time to go by the comic book store. Now, I will tell you, Absolute Batman number 15 was selling like hotcakes, especially the variant covers. I did not get my hands on the variant covers, okay? And I didn't get my hands on Absolute Batman number 15, at least the physical version of it. I bought it digitally, but I was only able to get like one comic that really kind of stood out to me, and that is Street Fighter Masters Zangief. So this is what I got right here. So as you all know, I'm a Street Fighter fan. I am a Street Fighter fan. And that is one of the things we're going to cover today, because that's actually in the title, Street Fighter trailer. You know what I mean? So we're going to talk about the Street Fighter trailer and people's thoughts on it and people's opinions on it. And I'll give you my thoughts and opinions on it, on what it's going to be, that kind of thing. But the main event we're going to talk about today is Supergirl, the Supergirl trailer and its correlation with Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. And also, like I said in a post on our YouTube channel, there is another Marvel / DC crossover event that is coming, and we're definitely going to be covering that. So those are the main 3 things we are going to cover. Now, if you have not hit that like and subscribe button and the notification bell, I'm gonna need you guys to do that. I really need you guys to do that, because it helps out the channel. And speaking of helping the channel, I got a notification this morning. that we have officially we have officially reached 700 subscribers on Orange Phoenix Media channel, man. Yo, happy. I'm happy. I am super happy, super stoked for that, man. Couldn't do it without you guys, man. Thank you guys for actually helping the channel grow to what it is, man. And we are continuously growing. People come back to the channel and people come back and watch the videos on our comic book content and listen to me, Vivo, the Boogie Blends, whenever we get together for a live show. And there's more interviews on the way. There's more interviews on the way between me and some comic book artists along the way, what schedules, get aligned and stuff like that. So, the rest of 2025 and going into 2026 and so forth, so on and so forth is going to be great. It's going to be great, man. Going to grow this channel. We're going to continue to grow this channel, man. Shout out to those 700 now subscribers, man. Y'all need another round of applause. I need another one. Y'all need another one. Y'all need another one. So, the next thing we're going to talk about today. The thing we're going to talk about today is Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. Now, as you all know, the Supergirl trailer, well, I wouldn't say full trailer, more like a teaser. The teaser trailer came out. And I got to say, man, I am thoroughly impressed. Now, this is a man that has, again, been reading the lore. They've been really getting into it as far as what's going on. Now, there's a couple things that stood out outside of Supergirl, and we're definitely gonna hit that share screen real quick. And a lot of people are like, well, what story is this pulling from? And the story is being pulled from Woman of Tomorrow by Tom King. And I reread Woman of Tomorrow because it's been a little minute since I read Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. And I read it last night. Well, I wouldn't say last night, more like yesterday evening, yesterday afternoon time frame. And yeah, this book and this movie is going to be very, very enjoyable. Now, let's look at this person here, Ruthie Knoll. Like, Ruthie Knoll is one of the main protagonists in Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. And from the looks of it, she's one of the main protagonists in this movie here. So, what you have to know about Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow is that Supergirl goes to planets with red suns. And what you have to know about Krypton had like red radiation, and that they didn't have like those superpowers. They didn't have like superhuman hearing and laser vision and flight and superhuman strength and speed. They didn't have none of that stuff. So she goes to these planets where she can actively get drunk. So she can actively have a good time because of her physiology. The thing is with Ruthie witnessed her father's death at the hands of what I believe is the main antagonist of the story, Krim of the Yellow Hills. Like, she actually witnessed the murder. Like, she saw that happen, and Krim left the sword in this man's body. So that sword on her back, like right here, that's the sword that killed her father. So she's left her family, and she's on a quest to look for a bounty hunter, somebody of great strength to find Krim and put that sword in him. And her like witnessing that kill, because she just can't let that go. She's like, nah. Like, her family, like, if you go to the comics, and I'm gonna go to the artwork in just a minute. If you go to the comics, like, her family is like, hey man, that's just how the world works. That's just what it is. Like, that's the vibe that I got. That's the vibe that I got. That's the vibe that I got. She wasn't on that kind of time. She was like, all right, I understand that's how things works, and if this happens, then this is the result of this, that's cause and effect. But I don't give a damn about none of that. I need this man dead. I need this man gone. So that was Ruthie is doing. She's looking for someone to help her on her quest to take out Krim of the Yellow Hills. Now, the other thing that was very, very glaring is this character here. Now, they didn't harp on this character too much. And obviously, that is Lobo, played by Jason Momoa. So that lets us know here that he's no longer Aquaman. He's not Aquaman. So let's get that out the way. He's no longer Aquaman. And honestly and truly, I feel like this is a better casting. I feel like this is better. You know, he didn't say anything. He didn't do anything. It's just a shot of him walking with the cigar in his mouth. Like, what part does he play in this? Because in Woman of Tomorrow, he is nowhere to be found in that book. Like, he's not in that book at all. I think the majority of Woman of Tomorrow will be in this movie, and that's where they're taking the inspiration from. But I think there's other places where there's interactions with Lobo and Supergirl that they're just gonna have that. But you didn't see that in the trailer though. You just saw him walking. And yeah, Lobo's bounty hunter. I mean, he's known throughout space. You know, Zarnian, man. Like, that man will get you. He will get his man. And yeah, I mean, if you start using words like bastich and fragging and stuff like that, yeah, I'm with that 110%. Now, a lot of people saying like this is Guardians of the Galaxy vibes, and some people like saying it as like a slight. You know what I mean? That's not a slight. That's not a slight. Yes, it does have Guardians of the Galaxy-esque type of deal, and if you really listen to Superman, like the music that he listens to whenever he's at the Fortress of Solitude or wherever he's at, he's a punk rock kind of guy, right? And Supergirl, she's the same way, because that's how the trailer started, with Crypto accidentally knocking over a bottle and it started playing Call Me, and that's played throughout the teaser trailer. And yeah, okay, it's the lover of music, and it got that Guardians of the Galaxy vibe. But a lot of people zone this thing like it's a brand new thing. No, this is not a brand new trope. Like, this trope has been going on for quite some time, before Guardians of the Galaxy. It's just that this is James Gunn's stick. Now, James Gunn is not part of this. Yes, there's other directors that and writers that is a part of this. Yes, James Gunn and Peter Safran is like over the overarching DC project, but there's other directors that's there. So this movie is going to be really good. And just going back and rereading Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, I feel like I like this character more. I feel like I like this character more, at least as of right now, because we got to go to the actual book here. So this is Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, Tom McCain, Bill Quist, Everly. If you haven't read this book, you need to read this book. Now, when it came down to single issues, it was issues 1 through 8, right? So there was like 8 issues of this. But the one thing I will say about this artwork is absolutely amazing. Really good. It depicts what's going on. And some of this stuff you will see. Like, if you see right here, this is Ruthie's dad, and that is the sword that she carries on her back in the trailer. Now you got to go further, because this is her first attempt to like hiring a hunter to go find Krim, the person that killed her father. And clearly you see a drunk, you see a drunk Supergirl. You see drunk Cora. So that is the introduction from Ruthie to her, and she's celebrating her birthday. I know in the trailer it says she's celebrating her 23rd birthday. Here, if I'm not mistaken, she celebrates her 21st birthday. And yeah, she makes quick work of this guy, even though she's in a planet that has a red sun, because he does take a hit. Like, like right up in here, she does take a hit. She's like, yeah, damn, I am on a planet with a red sun. So I might need to keep it. I might need to be careful. The ending of Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow is justified. You know what I mean? I was like, wow, because Ruthie goes with her in her adventures, right? Krim, spoiler alert, like Krim takes Supergirl's ship, like takes it away, drives off, and she's not without a ship. So Ruthie and Supergirl actually go on these travels. They go from planet to planet, and they are in search of Krim. Now, Ruthie is very matter of fact. Like, she wants to take this man out, like, by all means necessary, right? Supergirl is trying to tell her there's another way. Like, yeah, truth, justice, American way, and all that other crap, whatever. But the one rule that I always follow is I don't kill, and neither should you. And she was like, what do you know about it? Like, what did you lose? Like, she lost her whole planet. Like, Ruthie doesn't know that at that point in time, but Supergirl has dealt with I wouldn't say want to try to compare losses, but she dealt with a greater loss. Like she lost her entire civilization. The only person that she has is her dog and her cousin, and that's it. So and Supergirl just trying to teach her a better way. You know what I mean? Just show her what the world is, because Ruthie, the planet that she comes from, has that medieval style of talk, that medieval style of mannerisms. Like she didn't know about washing her hands. Like, what is this? What are we doing? It's like, wait, y'all don't do that. And if you have a certain scent on you, especially if you go into the city and how people look at you, it's like, nah, that's a scent of work. Like, nah, that's musk. Y'all musky. Like, y'all stink out here. You know what I'm saying? But where she was raised, and the farmlands that she was raised in, they didn't have those type of luxuries. So they took the work that they did outside and the scent that they was carrying as a symbol of pride, because that was a symbol of hard work and hard labor. So I don't know how deep they are going to get in this movie, because remember now, when it comes down to comics and it comes down to movies, especially movies has a certain time frame. They have a time limit. You might have 2 hours, 2.5 hours, maybe 3, but you got to tell a lot of story within a certain amount of time. And the thing is with comics, especially with Woman of Tomorrow, is that it gets into the nook and cranny of the storyline, like each and every adventure. But what's funny about it is when Ruthie is narrating the story in this book, she's telling you, it's like, okay, to not prolong the hour or prolong the time that you're reading this story, I'm gonna condense this, because it's been basically the same scenario every planet that we went to. So yes, these are the 2 instances where we had a bar fight. These are 2 instances where I had an issue where someone was crowding my seat when we was on the space bus. That's what I'm gonna call it, the space bus to another planet, and Supergirl elbows the person in the face and they go take a nap. Like, so she condenses it for you as the reader and for the book that she's writing, because she's really writing the book on her adventures with Supergirl. So, the thing is with this book, it does go into a lot of detail. And there was a scene in this book where, and I'm gonna see if I can find it here. There's a scene in this book where Supergirl goes to a planet and she gets transported to this planet, and it has like the green sun, almost like kryptonite in ways, and she is completely weak. And she referenced Superman there. She referenced her cousin to a point where Superman been in something like this before. My cousin Cal been in this before, and he only survived X amount of time because the Justice League came and saved him. We don't have the Justice League. We're gonna have to survive. And it's going to be like 11 hours or so before this sun goes down. And she passes out. And Ruthie, one thing you got to know about Ruthie as a character, she doesn't have like battle experience. She doesn't have that. She carrying that sword on her back as a symbol. So that's the part of it. But she is forced to fight and try to protect Supergirl, because she's extremely weak. And I'm gonna see where I can actually find this here. So that's where she gets transported. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so this is it right here. Now this is where she was like pretty much weak, and she was there to protect her until the sun goes down and she get her abilities back. And the things that she fought, man, she fought actual dinosaurs. For me, it gave me Dragon Ball Z Gohan type vibes, because Gohan had to survive in the wilderness on his own, and in the wilderness there were dinosaurs, and there was a Tyrannosaurus like creature that was there, and she was there to protect Supergirl at this point. So she was very successful. I think that was probably one of my favorite parts of the book, and how she's able to come into her own. So I really do appreciate that part of the story, because I mean, so far she's been witnessing the miraculous feats that Supergirl has been part of. And hold on for a sec. We got a comment here. He said, "You seen Blade and Marvel Black, White, and Guts this week? He's my dude." Man, that's one of the books I wanted to read, man. And what's funny about it is I went to my LCS. And they didn't even have it because they bought that thing up. They bought that book up, man. They definitely bought that book up. But hopefully they get some reprints or something like that. Now there are 3 comic book stores in my area. I only went to one of them. And so I'll probably go to my other 2 today after the show and see if I can find Blade, Marvel Black, White, and Guts. And yeah, for sure. He's like, yeah, I'm definitely going to do that. And hopefully with enough support, man, I'll probably put another poll up at some point and say, hey, do you guys want me to cover a Blade storyline or 2 and see how, you guys feel about it. But yeah, I'm definitely going to do that. But the thing is, like with Kara, is that she literally is trying to teach Ruthie about revenge and how that's not good. And Ruthie wants a quick kill, and that's all she wants. But well, again, with that teaser trailer, it did show us a good bit. But now the trailer that I've seen, it literally tells you at the end, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. Read that book. Like, tell you go read that book. That way you can have a better understanding on the movie, and you'll be like, you're like, yo, I remember that in the story, or yo, I remember this scene in Tom King's story, or whatever the case would be. Now, if you go back though, the introduction of Supergirl, there was a Supergirl movie way back when, like when it came down to the Christopher Reeve Superman, then there was a Supergirl. But the thing is, Supergirl wasn't well received, and they killed her off in Crisis of Infinite Earths. So I don't know, because it wasn't, the fan base didn't like it at that point in time, and then Tom King gave this story back, and it brought more people to the forefront as far as people liking her character. And we're back. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're back. And also, I think the popularity of Supergirl will increase after this movie comes out, after people see this movie. Because, outside of the nuances of the miraculous feats that Kara does in this book, it is a lesson, though. But it is a nice little cap on top at the end of it, I'm trying not to say it, but it's worth it at the end. It's worth it because Kara and Ruthie share similarities of dealing with tragedy, right? When it comes down to Argo City, is where that, if you remember in the trailer, there was like this half dome area in the trailer, and it shows Kara and other Kryptonians walking around in white or whatever. That is in that book. That is in the book. Now, in the book, they survived for an extended period of time. I wouldn't say years, but extended period of time. Obviously, that's going to be sped up a little bit in the movie, and maybe they may do it word for word, bar for bar. Maybe that's what will happen. But yeah, so Supergirl did survive the first explosion of Krypton, and then the second part, not so much. So a lot of people, some people may not realize that Kara is older than Kal, like Superman. Like, she's the older cousin. So when you saw her at the end of the movie, she was like, "See you later, bitch." Like that kind of thing. Like, yeah, you still a little cousin, even though you got the Earth before I did. That kind of thing. So I think a lot of people are going to resonate with her character and some of the tragedies she has dealt with and how she was able to deal with it and her growth as a character. She is not Superman, okay? She has a different way of doing things. Superman crash landed on Earth, and he got those family values from day one. From the moment he crash landed on Earth, the moment he was raised in Smallville, to the point of being the beacon of hope. Supergirl is not that. She's not that. Okay, she's not that. She's definitely a superhero, yes. But I feel like she has no qualms about taking you off the board, though. She has no qualms about that. Like, she don't callously do it, right? You know what I mean? Like, she's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna destroy this building. She's not just gonna just take you off the board. It would have to be extreme measures for her to take you off the board. But she have no qualms about taking you off the board. That's the other part of it. So three things. You got Kara's origin story. You got Kara's teachings of Ruthie and Ruthie Knoll. You have the introduction of Krim of the Yellow Hills. And you have the introduction of Lobo, which is not in the book. So, that might be another story. Well, that definitely is another story that they're pulling from. But you're doing the introduction of Lobo. And on top of that, you may see a cameo of Superman. Obviously, we've seen it on the newspaper. And clearly, when it came down to Peacemaker, the latest season, when they give you the recap of the first season, it shows a remake of the Justice League. And Supergirl was one of them. So clearly Supergirl was on Earth at some point in time, help saving lives and everything else. So this is basically the aftermath of that. So looking at the timeline, this takes place after Superman, her picking up Crypto and her flying off, and each and every, the rest is history at that point. So either way it goes, this movie will be enjoyable. Definitely will be enjoyable. James Gunn, Peter Safran, what they're doing with the DC universe, or the DCU, that's what they call it, is very successful. And I think it is pleasing a lot of comic book readers from the DC side. And there's like some organization, you know what I mean? Because there's a lot of Snyderverse people out there that want the Snyderverse to come back and everything else. But like, are y'all forgetting that how disjointed that was? Like, how it was all over the place. It was no like single mind and focus until Zack Snyder came back and gave us Justice League, which I feel like is a great cinematic experience. I feel like I should have watched that in the movie theaters. That should have came out, like Zack Snyder's Justice League. And am I interested in seeing that storyline finish? Sure, but I'm more interested in what James Gunn is doing with the DCU though. I can live without Zack Snyder's Justice League Part 2 and 3. I can live without that. I'm more, like I said, I'm more interested in the DC universe that James Gunn is building, because he's telling you, he's like putting pictures in, like, yo, these are the books that I'm reading. These are the stories that I'm pulling this inspiration from, and this is what I'm putting on screen, along with some other things. Like, with Superman, with All-Star Superman, which I have that in my bookshelf, like back here. It's pulled for some of the feats from there. And some people are like, well, Superman was kind of weak in this. I mean, he was weak throughout the whole movie. I mean, I don't think he was ever at full 100% strength in that movie at all, because it started out him being weakened. So but it's led to a better storyline. And then Supergirl the same exact way. It humanizes her character, with her going from planet to planet and her not being on Earth. So I do like that. And I think that what made this book one of the best books in DC with Woman of Tomorrow. And I'm so glad that James Gunn and the director and the writers are actually pulling from this. So for the next thing we are going to cover though, and there is a Street Fighter trailer that is out. There's a Street Fighter trailer out. And some people feel away. Some people feel away about this. And I understand. Okay. I understand. I did see that teaser trailer. I don't want to get flagged because I want to replay it, right? And it's only 40 seconds. It's a teaser trailer, right? So let's start with this. Looking at the Street Fighter trailer, right? Looking at this trailer, I can tell you right off rip that this pulls from Street Fighter 2. This pull from Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition, Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Basically, the Street Fighters we've been playing on Sega and Super Nintendo, and maybe a little bit of the original Street Fighter in the arcade, because I noticed some characters. In there. But yes, it's pulling from that campiness of the 90s video game that we were playing. right? And some people are taking this trailer way too seriously, right? They're looking like, we need a serious Street Fighter movie and stuff like that. I mean, I don't think people really understand how in some ways how difficult that is, and also how you going to project fireballs, how you going to explain that, how you going to explain Dragon Punch, even though we don't care. As a fan of Street Fighter, we don't care, right? But the one thing though, I will say, the majority of the casting is perfect. The majority of the casting is perfect. Not all of them, the majority of them. Exhibit A, Chun-Li. Cool. I'm with that. Like her scene in the trailer, great. And I think there was more than one scene. There was two scenes actually. In this. Now I wonder if she's going to do the lightning kick or the whirlwind kick, or I wonder how that's going to play out, or how they're going to put that in the movie. Now the funny thing about that is, at the Game Awards a few days ago, Andrew Schultz, and he's not really well liked. Okay, let's just put that out there. He's not well liked, and he opened his big ass mouth. He's like, "Yeah, we got a Mortal Kombat 2 cast out here, y'all." Sorry, no. They ain't concerned with making money or whatever. So they throwing jabs at the cast of Mortal Kombat 2, right? Like, this movie better be A1. That's all I'm gonna tell you. This movie better be A1. You out here talking trash about another movie that's coming out in that time frame. So look, it's not gonna look good for you if the movie's trash. But another casting, perfect casting right there. Like that doll scene. You know what I'm saying? Like that doll scene. Very good casting there. The other cast. Now this right here is what everybody is focused on. This picture right here is what everybody is focused on, because like, yo, what is this? This is too accurate in Street Fighter, right? Like, you could have had like the Ivan Drago from Rocky 4 hairstyle. You ain't had to go over the top like this, but I think I know where the director is going with this, and as a person that is a fan of Street Fighter, I appreciate the lengths that you're going to go, because it kind of does two things. It kind of says, this is how ridiculous some of you sound, how accurate you want a movie to be, but we're going to make it accurate to the point that what you want it to be. And Exhibit A with this hair, we're going to make this video game accurate and comic book accurate. We're going to make this accurate, but some people still griping about it because A, the hair, B, Gao is bulkier than Cody. He's bulkier than Cody Rhodes is. But in this scene, he got a considerable size. You know what I'm saying? He got a considerable size. And this scene is him going against Vega and him doing a flash kick on Vega. Now, if we really want to get in the weeds, he did a running start before he did that flash kick. Nah. He don't do a running start for a flash kick. He just sits there and flash kick your ass. That's what he does. That's what he does. But again, even with the lighting, even with the scene, cool, got it. But the only thing I would change here is put him on the Air Force Base or something in front of the F-16, just like in the 90s, and have him. You can CGI it. You don't have to be on base or whatever, and like fight there, or put somebody through a crate or something like that. Now that would be awesome. That would be awesome to see. That'd be awesome to see. This right here, perfect casting right here. Perfect casting. Ryu, man, Andrew Koji. I'm with that 110%. 110%. If anything that sells this movie is this level of accuracy, that just by the look alone, please throw a fireball. I'm gonna need you to throw a fireball, cuz I'm gonna need that. Or tap into the Dark Hado. Like, that would be dope as well. And this right here though, was crazy, man. The beating up of the car. That's been like an ongoing like meme, right? Beating up cars or whatever the case would be. If you notice right here in the back, like this number right here is digitized like the 16-bit style, right? So here's my thing with this. Oh, wait a minute. I got one more thing. All right. So Akuma. Now I had my reservations about Akuma being played by Roman Reigns. He has the look, right? He got the look, right? It's the martial arts part that I'm concerned about. I don't know Roman Reigns to be a martial artist. I know him to be a professional wrestler, and he probably got some training along the way. I mean, he's definitely been taking some time off, so maybe he been getting some training, like Shotokan karate and stuff like that, learning the Dark Odo, and what his interactions is with Ryu. Like, is that going to further a storyline or whatever the case may be? But we will see. But just that little glimpse of what I saw of him, I'm like, okay, all right, I may have been wrong, but we got to see more of that trailer. The other thing was, now you saw all these characters on stage. There was some people that was missing. The people that was missing was Balrog, 50 Cent, and Goto right here. And obviously, my man's right here. Like, these people were missing. Goto from New Japan Pro Wrestling playing E Honda. Like, I think that would be great to see. I think some of the reason for this casting, like I said, the majority of this casting is good. Dalsim is good. Junie is good. Cammy is good. Chun-Li is good. Akuma, I got it. That Zangief, perfect. Zangief was perfect, especially with that scene with the spinning power drop. Not spinning power drop. The spinning suplex. Woo! Woo! Man, good. Vega, this guy right here, see, like perfect casting right there, man. Hey, let the man climb a fence. That's all I'm gonna say. Let the man climb a fence, do something. So I think the thing that is going to sell this movie is the martial arts. That is what's going to sell this movie. I think people are going to look past the look of Street Fighter and they're going to go forward with it. Because if you really, really look at this trailer, man, if you really get down to the crannies of this trailer, it's actually not bad. It's one of those things where someone perfectly said it's so bad that it's good. And some people even say, like, that teaser trailer was better than the 90s movie. I ain't gonna lie. That 90s movie is my guilty pleasure. Yes, I know that movie is bad. Yes, I know that. But Raul Julia killed it. And he did it for his children before he passed away. And I have nothing but respect for that. And that also part of the reason probably why I like that movie so much. Because Raul Julia really leaned into Bison as an eccentric type of person. And he pretty much out-acted everybody in that movie. And he made that movie enjoyable. He had some of the best lines in that movie as Bison. So, with the new Bison here, hopefully he taps into some of that Raw Julia Bison, just to get a little eccentric, have some clever one-liners and stuff like that. Cool. We with that. We with that. So, but yeah, some people with this movie is like, yeah, man, this movie's gonna be terrible. This movie's gonna be ass. This movie's gonna be trash. Look, man, if we are tapping into the SNES, the Sega Nintendo version of this, it's gonna be goofy. It gotta be goofy. You know what I'm saying? It gotta be goofy. So you gotta tap into that. Notice in this right here, there is a person missing. Sagat is missing. And maybe Sagat is that hidden person that will be in the movie. And they're just not gonna say anything. And maybe that might be the person to take Dan out. Because somebody actually pointed out that Andrew Schultz, being as problematic as he is, may turn people off of watching the movie in totality. My answer to that is that he is a minor character in the grander scheme of things. Like, he is not the main character, right? Like, he is not going to go out here and beat M. Bison. He ain't going to beat anybody. Dan as a character is 100% fodder. This man is old and 100. like that's it. He's old and 100. Like, everybody that Dan fights, he gets his ass whipped. And I mean, he gets his ass whipped thoroughly and methodically. You feel me? Like, that's just what it is. So I don't even know Dan is even going to be in this movie a great deal. You know what I mean? He might have a couple scenes and that might be the end of him. He might get killed off or whatever. We just don't know. If my thing is this: if it's so much of a big stink about his character, about him as a person, which I completely understand, they can really just minimize his scenes, and that'd be the end of it. You know what I mean? He ain't a main character. He's not a main character. I can see if he was Ryu or Ken or somebody like that. Yeah, this will kill the movie. This will kill the movie. But considering the fact that he's like, in all intents and purposes, a side character. Nah. I don't think it's gonna like kill the movie. I mean, at best, if people like really have an axe to grind with that, then they can easily just limit his scenes and just keep it pushing. You know, just keep it moving with that. But I think this movie is gonna be good. I know full well where they drawn this from, and being like a movie geek and understand lighting and the setting and what's going on, I'm like, oh, this is Sega Genesis. This is what this is. This is Sega Genesis brought to life. This is what that is. That is what this is. So, and I'm gonna embrace that. I'm gonna go to the movies. I'm gonna watch this movie in IMAX, and I'm gonna appreciate this damn movie, and I'm gonna love this damn movie. Like, and it's gonna be so bad that it's good, and I'm cool with that. But but the martial arts though, the martial arts is on point. The martial arts is on point. You gotta give it there. Now, do I think it's going to be better than Mortal Kombat 2? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think it's gonna be better than Mortal Kombat 2. But Andrew Schultz put out his, opened his big mouth. So now people are comparing, and now you cannot close Pandora's box once you opened it. So this movie better be A1. Better be A1. Better be A1. And also, I'm missing somebody because I don't have the picture up, but Jason Momoa is playing Blanca, and he's like, "Yo, I'm a huge Street Fighter fan, man. Listen." He's like, you better make me Blanca. Like, you better make me Blanca. So yes, there is a Blanca. Matter of fact, I know I didn't point that out, like right here. That Jason Momoa right here as Blanca. So damn sure better than the 90s one, because the 90s Blanca, he was skinty. You know what I mean? He was skinny, and he really didn't do a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? He really didn't do a whole lot. But out of a series of terrible Street Fighter movies, Legend of Chun-Li was abysmal. Legend of Chun-Li was terrible. Okay? Like, the 90s movies were better than Legend of Chun-Li. I can tell you that off rip. Some people was like, hey, won't you use Assassin's Fist? You know what I mean? Like Ex Machina. Won't you do like the Assassin's Fist and push forward with that? Like, you had the formula right here. Why did you wait right here? And I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm not disagreeing with that whatsoever. But I think the premise of this right here is just going to tap into 90s nostalgia, and it's going to be a popcorn fun movie. I said in the comments in one of the groups that I'm in, this is not a movie that's looking for an Academy Award. This is not a movie that's looking for a Golden Globe or whatever the case may be. This is supposed to be a fun popcorn style movie that you can take the fam to go see. Bring back some core memories of the 90s playing Street Fighter. Obviously, Street Fighter 6 is out right now if you want to play it. But it's gonna bring back those core memories. You know what I mean? That's the whole premise of that. So it's gonna be a fun movie. I need to see the full trailer though. Gotta see the full trailer. Teaser looks good. Got some key parts. I just hope it doesn't be one of those movies where you show us everything in the trailer, and by the time we watch the movie, all we're doing is just watching a repeat of what we saw in the trailer. I don't want to see that. Please don't give us that. So the next thing and lastly we're going to talk about is there's going to be another Marvel and DC crossover event, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, they are not done. And the slated is March 2026. So just, be on the lookout for that. And it's like, according to Bleeding Cool News, is that Superman Spider-Man #1 launches March 2026, marking 50 years since the original DC Marvel crossover. Now, it says, as Bleeding Cool predicted, DC Comics has got to go first with Superman/Spider-Man #1 out on the 25th of March. Mark Waid and Jorge Jimenez. Now, if you're familiar with Jorge Jimenez, he's been drawing and doing the artwork for Batman for Matt Fraction. So this artwork is going to be top tier. It also says that Marvel Comics will follow Spider-Man / Superman at a later date, and it also marks 50th anniversary celebration of the very Mark Waid and Jorge Jimenez sees Clark and Peter chasing the same dangerous mystery, one tied to the villainous machinations of Brainiac and Dr. Octopus. And naturally, their investigation quickly turns into a full-blown superhero crisis once Superman and Spider-Man step into the spotlight. Other stories in the volume include Tom King and Jim Lee on Lois Lane and Mary Jane Watson. Like that, Matt Fraction and I just said Matt Fraction. Matt Fraction and Steve Lieber revisiting Jimmy Olsen with a Carnage twist. Really looking forward to that. Sean Murphy on Superboy Legion and Spider-Man 2099. Gail Simone and Belen Ortega are bringing together Power Girl and Punisher. That is an interesting crossover. And that makes me very curious. Christopher Priest and Daniel Sampier are exploring a meeting between Superboy Prime and Spider-Man during the Black Suit era. So Superboy Prime and Black Suit Spider-Man locked in. Greg Rucka and Nicola Scott are staging a rivalry between the Daily Planet and the Daily Bugle. Locked in for that one. And Lemire and Rafa Sandoval are delivering a heartfelt flashback centered on Pa Kent and Uncle Ben. Whoa. Okay, so let's look at these right here. This right here, just by name alone, I feel like this is going to be, and this is a prediction. I ain't saying this is a fact. I feel like this is going to be the best crossover event to date. Just by the interest of crossover events of what's going on. Like Gail, and especially the talent that is on here. Tom King, Jim Lee, Matt Fraction, Steve Lieber, Sean Murphy, Gail Simone, Belen Ortega, Christopher Priest, Daniel Sampier, Greg Rucka, Nicola Scott, Lemire, and Rafa Sandoval. Like that's like an all-star cast of writers and artists right here. You know? That is crazy. And it says Superman Spider-Man will be sold at $7.99 for the standard edition and $8.99 for cardstock variants alongside Jorge Jimenez's main cover. The issue will feature open to order variant covers from the industry superstars such as Jim Lee, just like the people I have named. Oh wait, we got Jim Lee, Daniel Sampier, Art Germ, Dave Johnson, David Nakayama, Gabriel Del Alto, Michael Janine, Clayton Crane, J. Scott Campbell, Olivia Coapel, Adam Hughes, and many more. And Jimenez's main cover will also be available as a foil variant. Again, DC Comics has chosen not to include ratio variant covers, so to the chagrin of comic book retailers. So it's like, we ain't doing no ratio variants. We just gonna give you the variants. So yeah, sorry guys, sorry about you. Sorry about your damn luck. But this right here, I want that one. I want this one right here. The Black Suit Spider-Man, that's the one I want. That's the one I want. I want this one, and I want this one with the Green Goblin, and this one right here. I need that in my life. I need that in my life. The Black Suit Spider-Man, Superboy Prime, I'm with that 110%. 110%. Also, it said DC and Marvel are also issuing Treasury Edition reprints of the original Superman versus the Amazing Spider-Man and Superman and Spider-Man, with more expected for the rest of 2026. Now, if I'm not mistaken, it is in these boxes back here. If I'm not mistaken, I do have the original Superman versus Spider-Man. I think it's in my top box. I think it's in my top box because I went to a comic book convention and there was a series of crossover comic books, like single issues. I'm like, yo, let me get those. Let me get those off you, player. Let me get that. Let me get that. So I think I do have that. I do have the Punisher and Spider-Man. I know for a fact I have that. What I do want is the DC versus Marvel omnibus. I really do want that, so I can like just have that in my collection and just put that here. But only time will tell. You know, only time will tell. But these books look really good. Also, what I need to tell you, man, this week, man, we are covering Unbreakable X-Men #3, the finale, man. I'm be honest with you. Outside of Rogue Storm and Unbreakable X-Men, put those over here. Put those on the side, okay? You know, Marewa and Gail Simone, put them to the side. So for the rest of this Age of Revelation event, just hurry up and be done. Like we're ready to get back to the Jed McKay, Adjectiveless X-Men, Gail Simone, Uncanny X-Men. Let's go see the Cyclops solo run, the Magic and Colossus solo run. Let's go see that, please. Let's go back to the original, right? Let's stop this time travel shit. You know what I mean? Like, just stop that. Let's stop doing that. Let's stop doing that. You know what I mean? And also, when you look at some of these 3-issue comics, it's been rushed. It's been rushed to the end, and I do not fault the writers for this. Like you're like looking at other comic books, right? Just looking at others, you look at it and say, damn, this feel like this should have been expanded more. This should have been like an extra issue or something like that. And that is the feeling that I get when I read some of these Age of Revelation comics, right? Yes, I'm only covering 2, but it does get that notion. I'm gonna expand on that after covering Unbreakable X-Men #3. I mean, obviously there's gonna be more comics we're gonna be covering next week as more comics drop. But yeah, I'm ready for Age of Revelation to be done with. And I think as a totality, as far as comic book readers concerned, we don't give a damn about this. I'm just saying that. And that's not against the writers of this book. That does not. That is Marvel. Don't do this shit again. Like, don't do this shit for another 5-7 years. Like, let's leave this alone. Keep us with this main continuity. Continue to push this story. Quit rinsing and repeating. Like, don't give us hundreds of tie-ins or whatever. Like, come on, man. You got to look at the pocketbook. You got to look at the money. You know what I mean? The average comic book retailer, they don't have time to buy all these damn books. Going broke buying all these damn books because we want to see tie-ins to this, that, and the third. It's crazy. Let's go back to the main continuity, man. Let's go back. I think it's the Book of Shadows or something like that. But those are the books I'm looking forward to. Let's get back to the main continuity of things. But like I said, I did enjoy Rogue Storm, and I did enjoy Unbreakable X-Men #3. Matter of fact, I think Rogue Storm #3, the finale, comes out this week. So be on the lookout for those 2 books coming out. Yeah, but yeah, man, you already know what to do. Hit that like and subscribe button and that notification bell, man. I hope you guys enjoy this edition of Saturday Morning Comics. I always love hanging out with you guys. Always love interacting with you guys. And shout out to Huracan. He gave me a recommendation. He gave me a recommendation of Blade, Marvel Black, White, and Guts. And definitely going to be looking into that. Probably go to the comic book store between today and tomorrow in my travels today. And I'm going to just get the ball rolling today. That kind of thing. But can't wait. You already know what to do. Again, hit that like and subscribe button and that notification bell, man. And let me know in the comments if you just so happen to miss this live show. Just go ahead and put in the comments, man. What is your recommendations? What are your recommendations of books to read? And I'm gonna pull a poll up, man. Yes. Join our Discord. The Discord link is in the description below. If you do have issues with that Discord link, just let us know in the comments. Let me know in the comments, and we'll be working on it, man. But yes, in that Discord, we do have a comic book section. We can continue to talk about comics in the Discord. So either you catch me on here on the YouTube channel, or you catch me on the Discord with like-minded individuals like yourself. Or if you want to catch these videos, well, not this one, obviously, but the recorded videos before they come out on YouTube, yeah, you can go ahead and check out our Patreon as well. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, peace.